Australia. He then exhibited, after he arrived, symptoms of polio. He was isolated. He didn't contaminate anybody, but he could easily have. Last year there was a lot of cases where the virus went from India to countries in Africa where the disease hadn't been seen, and Russia where there'd been no cases for 10 years. In Russia, the vaccination rate had dropped. Some people, as you say, travelled because they were refugees, and the disease was reintroduced into Russia, which was a shocker. That has also been addressed.
It's significant that in the 1950s and late 40s, with not only polio that was very prevalent, but hepatitis. And one of the issues was, for instance, in Brisbane, we didn't have sewage. We still had sanitary cans, and that was so in many cities and towns. But also there was a huge emphasis then on good hand wash hygiene.
Yes.
Now I think that emphasis on hand wash hygiene has reduced enormously in the last 2 decades.
And that's a major issue because
it's a major risk in Australia.
That is basically. Yeah, absolutely. That is basically how the disease is spread from, it's called a fecal-oral route. So toilet hygiene is the issue.
Rob, any other questions? Rob, thank you for that.
I'll stick around anyway.
If you do, and Rob can show you his bike also. Yes. I think for those of you who are newer to Rotary, excuse me, this is really, the eradication of polio is Rotary's claim to fame. And Rob's touched on the disease itself and the stats. There's one other stat that I showed him this week, something that I pulled out in my year as president from the readings that I did. And it shows the power of Rotary, and the only reason that polio is about to be eradicated is because of Rotary. The mobilization of people to immunise and to get into those inaccessible regions has only been possible through Rotary. Rob mentioned, war stopping for a day or two whilst we vaccinated. An amazing stat is in India about, 5 or maybe more years ago, in one day within India, we managed to vaccinate 150 million people. So that works out at something like 6,000 kids per second in one day. And that's purely due to the power of Rotary. And I think that stat, that ability to mobilise, plus the fact that we've achieved so much, is really something that we as Rotarians can pitch to other people. You spoke about the elevator speech, and Ian Yarker talked to us about it. That is a great story. And one of the things, I mentioned the fact that we're trying to get rid of it this year. One of the other things that's mentioned in the Rotary Down Under is the fact that there are some governments, including the Australian government, who have pulled back on their funding for the drive to eradicate polio. And next month there's actually going to be a petition that we can all send in to the Australian government to urge them to put some funding back into it. Bill Gates has put in $355 million. We've put in $200 million in the last couple of years. But we really need to mobilise in every way possible, and it's only because of the reputation that we've got that we can actually all support and assist and make sure that it does happen. So, Rob, congratulations on your efforts. You're certainly doing a lot more than the rest of us.
Just going on a bike ride.
I've seen the amount of organisation that goes into this, so you are to be congratulated, and we are having a board meeting tomorrow, and I know we'll discuss an appropriate amount to donate there. But if anybody is interested in donating to Rob's efforts, come and speak to us afterwards, talk to Sue and to Rob. There is a mechanism where we'll get some recognition for the club and Rob at the same time.
And I've got receipts with me.
Excellent, so Rob's got receipts. So thank you again, Rob. Best of luck in your travels. Good to have you with us, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.